we're 1 week right now into the shutdown, and miraculously, surprisingly, the Democrats haven't caved. It could happen, right after today's show or something, but so far it hasn't. And it's not something that I expected. And one of the people that I turn to in the media for evaluations of strategy is Jon Stewart. I think he was probably expecting the shutdown to never actually happen. I think that he was expecting Chuck Schumer to cave even before, like he did earlier this year, but certainly to cave at some point in the first week. I mean, they did sombrero memes, but somehow they haven't. And Jon Stewart is giving Chuck Schumer credit, which is not a position he's often put in. And he raises a couple of good points. So I want to read a few quotes from last night's Daily Show. He said, look, I've given Democrats an enormous amount of S for their poor leadership, lack of specific and actionable plans, terrible messaging, abysmal wordplay. Did I mention poor leadership? But standing up for 75 million Americans in this moment to defend the rights of people to go into a little less medical debt seems like the least they can effing do. And perhaps, maybe that will remind the Republicans that their mandate wasn't 100%. They've just caught a constitutional, administrative, and logistics break. And I know he's exaggerating for effect there, but their mandate never existed. That's just a thing that the media came up with. Donald Trump did not even get 50% of the popular vote. He is not a popular president. He wasn't a popular president before he was sworn in. He wasn't a popular president on Inauguration Day, and he is rapidly losing ground ever since. And we need to remind them of that. And on Trump, Jon Stewart said this. He showed a clip of Johnson talking about the shutdown, and Johnson says the president takes no pleasure in this, to which Stewart says, bull S, the president takes no pleasure in this. The president takes only pleasure. Given the president's vascular condition, this might be the only thing keeping him hard. And he talks there about his need for vengeance and his need to look like he's winning. And that's why we mocked him so much in the little sit down that he had with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries before the shutdown actually started. That Donald Trump was like, I'm just gonna bully him and get what I want. And he didn't. And coming out of it, what did he do? He slapped a sombrero on them. Okay, does that make you feel better about your lack of a win in here? I guess it made some Republicans on Twitter feel better, because they apparently missed that Donald Trump did not win, was not a great negotiator. And now Trump is actually saying that he might be willing to do the deal on the subsidies, the Obamacare subsidies, saying if we made the right deal, I'd make a deal, sure. Now that's not a super strong endorsement of ongoing negotiations, but it does show that perhaps he's feeling the heat of these polls. The blame is going on Trump and the Republicans, which should inspire Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries to hold the line. And the longer they do that, the worse Donald Trump looks, and the more likely it is that they win on the actual policies. Now, Trump goes on to say, we're talking to the Democrats, and I'm not sure that that's even happening, but hopefully it will. I'd like to see a deal done for great healthcare. Yeah, I'm a Republican, but I want to see healthcare much more so than the Democrats, which is just hilarious in the context of what we're talking about right now. The Democrats are desperately trying to keep the healthcare costs down. Trump is only now a week into the shutdown, begrudgingly saying, maybe? Oh, but I want it even more than them, the ones who are fighting to get the healthcare costs down. And Maz, I want to throw to you because you mentioned the hypocrisy there, and certainly there's a lot of hypocrisy. I believe Skittlebutt pointed out it was Obama. It was a potential shutdown under Obama that Trump was like, it's on the president if it happens. And I've always said, while I hate hypocrisy, I understand that when it comes to shutdowns, everybody's a hypocrite. It's just, which side are you on? Are you on the side that the president is, in which case you say shutdowns are bad? Or are you on the other side? So to me, it's not about just raw hypocrisy or not. It comes down to, what are you willing to shut down the government for? And if it is something like keeping healthcare costs relatively affordable rather than seeing them skyrocket, then that is a good position. If you're just doing it to posture or to make Biden look bad, or you want to pass, the 17th thing that outlaws federal funding for abortions, if it's for nonsense, if it's for your culture war, identity politics, cancel culture nonsense, then that's wrong. And so I think on the substance, the Democrats have landed on like exactly the right thing to negotiate around. Now, I'm a little bit petty. I would throw in that I also want him to release the Epstein files to end the shutdown. They're not willing to go that far, but what do you make of their strategy?
Well, you're absolutely right. The Democrats have to stand for something. We've been saying that for the longest time. You got to stand for something, and they finally have taken that strategy. Jon Stewart pointing out that Trump definitely is taking pleasure in this. He's saying that he's using this as an opportunity to shut down programs that he didn't want. So you got Russ Vought over there, whose whole strategy had been to shut down a lot of these programs, and they want to attack those programs that they feel are the programs that Democrats want. And so they are taking pleasure in this. They are very, very sinister and not to be believed. And good on the Democrats for sticking with it. And I think they should just, like you said, we need more of this from the Democrats. And for Jon Stewart to come around and finally, say, hey, Chuck Schumer is doing something that's worthy of support and worthy of commendation. That's a big step, because we all felt with Chuck Schumer, like we've all felt for the longest time with him and Hakeem Jeffries, that we are not fighting this gunfight with a gun, but with a Jello stick or something.
Yeah.
So it's good to see them do this, and I hope that they stick to it. And ultimately, it goes back again to this whole thing of like, Trump is saying, "Oh, if we get the right deal, I'll do the deal." Why are we so obsessed with this idea of not providing healthcare to people who need healthcare? They call it socialism so that they scare people. Oh, we're going towards communism. No, it's healthcare for people who need healthcare. It's better for you and me. And unfortunately, the Republicans have bought into this thing, and they've gotten their constituents to buy into this thing, that this is all bad. And I think that the Democrats need to stay on target, stay on point, and don't give in. Do not give in. Democrats, please, after this episode of this show is done, I don't want us to turn on the news and say Democrats gave in on everything. No.
Yeah, don't make us feel bad for giving you a little bit of credit. We don't want to do it. I saw it was hurting Jon Stewart having to do it. He played some clips of Chuck Schumer, and it's like, it's weird when like you agree with what Chuck Schumer's doing, but the way he's communicating it is so bad. Like literally put Jasmine Crockett in charge. Come on, he'll do such a better job. But but anyway, it is, this is the topic. This matters, and the Republicans, it's just the donors for insurance companies, I suppose, for healthcare companies, like it's just a thing of money. That's all it is. And they'll throw out words, socialism, communism, whatever. Meanwhile, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw, Donald Trump is like letting some company do mining or something in Alaska. I don't know exactly what it is. And part of the deal to allow them to build this like road to despoil our environment is that America is going to get a 10% cut in the company. So just tell me more about like socialism and communism, as the American government is now partially owning all of these industries. Like I feel like you missed sort of the core economic part of those alternative political economic systems.
If you enjoyed that, then make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming a member. So you're probably wondering, why would I do that? Well, when you do that, you get access to bonus content that I make every single week, and it's a lot of fun. You get custom emojis and more. If you join at tier 3, by the way, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself. And you'll get all that going forward, but you'll also unlock years of the back catalog that is literally 100 or more bonus clips and top 10 lists and debates and more. So what are you waiting for?